East Asia Forum, 12th of April 2024, China maintains its dominance over an expanded BRICS that is devoid of purpose. China is utilizing the BRICS to establish an alternative United Nations. The inception of the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and, as of 2024, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates, can be identified in a 2001 publication titled Building Better Global Economic BRICs by Jim O'Neill, an economist at Goldman Sachs. According to O'Neill, Brazil, Russia, India, and China were positioned to assume a more substantial role in the worldwide economy. He predicted that by 2050, the combined economic output of these nations would constitute 40% of the global total. China accounted for approximately a quarter of global GDP growth from 2012 to 2022, with the BRICS countries collectively contributing more than 45%. Officially established in 2009, BRIC was renamed BRICS in 2010 to reflect the addition of South Africa. Trade relations have undoubtedly expanded since then, albeit highly unbalanced. Trade expansion has been predominantly driven by China, with the remaining contributions from the BRICS nations remaining relatively stagnant until recently. The recent surge can be primarily attributed to India, whose economy has expanded at an accelerated rate. Trade relations between BRICS members and China are becoming increasingly intertwined, whereas the remaining members maintain minimal ties with one another. Aside from China, bilateral trade between BRICS members continues to be negligible. China's BRICS dominance can be attributed to its burgeoning assertiveness in foreign policy and its enormous economy, which is 5 times that of India. China and the BRICS nations hold progressively more similar positions within the United Nations. This has not only for matters about Xinjiang and other domestic concerns within China but also for resolutions concerning the invasion of Ukraine and the Israel-Palestine conflict, which are global. Brazil is the sole anomaly regarding Ukraine, having cast its vote in alignment with Western interests in March 2022. Since then, however, Brazil's diplomatic posture on Ukraine has become considerably more ambiguous, and its stance on the Gaza conflict is in complete alignment with that of China. China has been an outspoken advocate for expanding BRICS Plus membership. The primary objective behind the expansion was to enhance BRICS's representation among developing nations and bolster its influence on the international platform. However, the 6 invited nations, which have since been reduced to 5 due to Argentina's withdrawal, are pretty diverse. Certain nations, such as Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, are net creditors, whereas others, in a highly precarious financial position, are net debtors. Oil and gas are major export commodities for half of them: Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Iran. Ethiopia and Egypt are notable African members, representing a continent that has gained significant prominence in the foreign policies of both China and India. What BRICS can accomplish with such a diverse membership and whether it will be able to sustain its objectives following expansion are the questions that arise. The International Monetary Fund and the World Bank have been demanded to undergo extensive reform to become more representative, accountable, and effective in addressing global challenges. BRICS has consistently argued that the United Nations' current structure, which consists of 5 permanent members endowed with veto power, fails to represent the interests of all member states and thus should be reformed comprehensively. An objective gaining prominence among BRICS is to serve as a novel forum where developing nations can express their concerns and interests. Regarding the international financial architecture, the positions of its members can be distinctly harmonized. Advocating for the utilization of domestic currencies in commerce among its constituent nations, particularly about trade with China, BRICS also supports open, transparent, and rule-based international trade. The growth of its membership contributes to the achievement of this goal. The precise consequences of BRICS expansion will depend on many factors, including the organization's capacity to surmount its internal obstacles and the reaction of the Western community. Nonetheless, the seamless expansion is a conspicuous indication of a shifting global balance of power, wherein developing nations are assuming an ever more significant role in international affairs. The trajectory of BRICS over time is contingent on a multitude of factors. Primarily, the evolution of China's influence is significant. There is a growing consensus that China's long-term development will persistently decelerate, diminishing the opportunities for BRICS members and other entities to enter the Chinese market. A second crucial element is the perception of China by the populations of BRICS members. The BRICS countries' political and economic diversity is in addition to their economic diversity. India, which finds itself in an increasingly awkward position in coalitions dominated by China, is the elephant in the room. However, the group's diversity and its members' comparative advantages may prove advantageous for China and India. Initially established as a primarily economic endeavor to symbolize the transition of economic dominance to developing nations, BRICS has since evolved into a significant geopolitical alliance. The diversity of its members and China's central location present challenges and opportunities. The grouping's trajectory is ambiguous in light of its substantial economic reliance on China and the members' deteriorating perception of China. The expansion of India's economy and growing geopolitical influence present further obstacles to maintaining a BRICS alliance centered on China.